Okay, yeah, I must be crazy. My challenge is one video a day for the next 30 days. No excuses and no script. Let's do this. All right, welcome everyone. Day 3 of 30. Today was a long one. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of stuff to do today, just like everyone else does. But I made a commitment to do 30 videos in 30 days. And yeah, those people on YouTube that make it look easy, a video or two every day, they got a lot of work to do. It's pretty hard, not gonna lie. But I've got a great video for you today. We're gonna concentrate on image generation. We're gonna talk about prompt engineering. We're gonna talk about ChatGPT. We're gonna talk about Replicate, if you're not familiar with that, and Flux image generation. And we're going to talk a little bit about Google Sheets as well, as always. So we're going to have a great episode today, guys. I hope you have fun and sit back and learn a little bit. And let's jump right into it. So as you can see here, I titled this one Futuristic City Image Generation. And we've got some processes in here and some modules that we'll explain as we go along here. We've got a Google Sheet that lists some data that we want to transfer over to ChatGPT for some prompt generation. We're going to send that over to Replicate. We're going to get that image, and then we're going to put it back to that same Google Sheet. All right. So this first module here, we're going to open right up, and it's a connection to a Google Sheet. As you can see there, we can search for Google Sheets. You can either search by path, or you can select from all, or you can enter manually, just so you know there are different options for you. But this particular one, we're going to go with selecting my drive. And then we're going to go with the ID for the spreadsheet there, Flux 1.1 Pro Image Gen 1 is what I called it. The sheet name is keyword and results. And does it contain headers? Yes, it does. And I just want two results, or two from each pull off that sheet. We can really put that down to 1. If you decide to put 2 down, it will pull 2. If you decide to put 3, it will pull 3. It's just depending how much you want it to pull at one time. We're just going to go with a limit of 2, and we're going to leave it at that. We'll go OK. What I did here, if you take a look, actually I won't ruin the surprise just yet. We'll go to the tools here. What happens when we do this and we run this result is we get a result of places, A in Paris. We really just want to pull that name out of this data. So when we go over to the tools here, we'll open it up, and you can see that it's asking for a variable name. So these are tools that are offered by make.com, and they're free. If you open this up, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. There's sleep, there's aggregators, there's let me close this, sorry. There is variables, there's aggregators, there's transformers, and each one of these does a different thing. For this particular one, we're going to get a variable, and this one is going to be the places A. So really what we wanted to do is we just wanted to pull the text off of that particular data string there, and that's what it's going to do. So this particular one that we pulled off initially here was the name Toronto from city in Canada. And then we want to go over here, we want to create a chat completion. So the chat completion here, we'll open that up. And we want to connect to our OpenAI. And we want to use the latest system as well, so that'd be ChatGPT 4.0. And we want to create a system message. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump back over to my ChatGPT dashboard here, and I talked yesterday's video about using the assistant or the API playground. I use both, to be honest with you. I go jump back and forth between the API playground and this, depending on what I'm doing. And just to give you an idea, this is what I kind of wanted to set up for you to show you how to do this. So I give it a very simple message. I said write a system message prompt for a Flux 1.1 prompt assistant. And then it gave me a template here, which is really good. The system message prompt for Flux 1.1 prompt assistant was, your helpful assistant skilled in generating prompts for Flux 1.1. Your task is to create rich, detailed prompts that'll produce high quality, visually engaging, and unique images. Focus on clear, descriptive language, avoiding any reference to copyrighted characters or recent artists. Be mindful to incorporate specific details like color, lighting, and style elements for maximum effect. I wouldn't be able to write that myself, so that's a really good description. What we did here is then we went back to our scenario, and I just plugged that right into a system message. So you're really just letting it know what it is, and I just plugged that right in. Secondly, I did another user message because I really liked what the return was here. It said use the following guidelines in your prompt generation. So again, I selected all of this as some more guidelines to generate a prompt. And then I went back to the OpenAI chat completion here, and also pasted that in just to give it more information of what I wanted to actually do. I looked at the final result from ChatGPT, and I really liked the example it gave when describing a sci-fi cityscape, say a sprawling futuristic city at night, illuminated by neon lights and shades of blue and pink, with towering skyscrapers and flying vehicles inspired by cyberpunk aesthetics. I really like that, so we're going to go with that. We're going to say, hey, we're creating a book that we want some visuals for, and those visuals, we want them to be a sci-fi cityscape for different places around the world, and we're just going to run with that. So that's another one that I plugged into the user role. And you can see that right here. So that's the kind of prompt it's going to come out with. It's going to describe a futuristic cityscape for us. What I wanted to do too is I wanted to give some data, so it really needed to know what city we were dealing with. So I used the result from places, and when you look over here to create the prompt, actually it's pulling right from places. So it pulls right from Paris. We didn't even need the tools. You can use it if you'd like, but you don't even need to use it. It's pulling directly from there. Just kind of neat. I didn't change it back, but hey, if something works, go with it. Okay, so now that we have our place, that's going to plug into the prompt, and it's going to provide a prompt for our image generation coming up. I just wanted to show you what that prompt was for that particular operation. So this one was for, what city was this for? Let's take a look. This one was for, Toronto. We'll take a look here. So for the one for Toronto, it said, and here was the result. When you do these guided assistants, it's really, the results are pretty spectacular when they come out. But this one's a vibrant, futuristic cityscape at dusk. Between cutting-edge technology and less natural elements, towering, sleek glass skyscrapers reflect the purple and orange hues of a setting sun across the expansive skyline. Immersive public spaces are woven in with cascading urban gardens and tree-lined streets, while flying autonomous vehicles glide seamlessly through the air. The city is aglow with modern lighting systems, futuristic soft ambient lights, and occasional bursts of neon piping in the blue and green, highlighting the edges of the structure. The urban environment blends modern minimalistic with sleek eco-design elements. Wide pedestrian walkways are bustling with life, and the gentle hum of innovative clean technologies fills the air, speaking to a harmonious future. I really don't know how much that actually has to do with Toronto, but it is going to give us a good result there. Let's take a look at the other city that it pulled up with. All right, so the other city that we were dealing with was Paris. It actually pulled two results, and this one is actually more specific. So this one says, an expansive futuristic cityscape inspired by the elegance of Parisian architecture reimagined in a sci-fi world. Towering glass skyscrapers seamlessly blend with ornate classical structures, all illuminated by soft, diffused neon lights and hues of lavender and emerald. The skyline is dotted with flying vehicles, gliding gracefully through a twilight sky, while bustling streets below are washed with reflections of shimmering digital billboards. A touch of romantic ambience permeates through the scene, with wrought iron balconies and futuristic street lamps casting a warm golden glow on cobblestone walkways. The atmosphere feels alive with the hum of advanced technology coexisting with timeless beauty, evoking both wonder and nostalgia. It almost writes a little book, doesn't it? It's kind of neat. So that would be the prompt that it's going to fill in to replicate. If you don't know what replicate is, actually, it's a very good, useful tool to run different AI technologies out there. And the one we're really dealing with today is we're going to be running. Let me open up Explorer here. We're going to be running what's called Flux 1.1 Pro. It's by a company called Black Forest Labs, and what it does is faster, better Flux Pro text-to-image model with excellent image quality, prompt adherence, and output diversity. I use it a ton, and it produces stunning image generation. You can see this one right here is 3.7 million runs, so it's very popular. People love it. So to do that, we need to go over here and we need to open up our replicate module. You can see that we can select different models. You need an API to connect to it, so we used our API key to connect to it. And then we looked at what model we wanted to use. And you can go over here and you can search for different models. So if you're not keen on using the Flux 1.1, or you wanted to use a different image generation tool, then you can definitely do that. But for this one, we're going to use the 1.1 Pro. It asks you what model you want to use. We're going to use the latest, and this is the version. We want our aspect ratio to come out at 1.1. This is kind of what we're dealing with. You can select the aspect ratio for 16.9 or 4:3 if you'd like, but this is what we're going to go as 1 by 1, and then specify. You can even specify what height you want it at. I want to output this one as JPEG for this particular version of what we're doing for this scenario. But you can also output it as a web page. You can output it as a PNG. And then you can also select, as you see on the bottom here, you can select what output quality you want. So this particular one is 100. You can select just an 80% if you like, and so on and so on. But I want the best kind of image that comes out of here. And then the prompt right here, well, we're going to use the result, right? So we want to use whatever prompt we were given over here, or whatever was generated to generate the picture for us. Prompt upsampling. What you can use this for is if you have a very basic prompt, like a tree with green leaves or something like that, you're not really skilled in developing detailed prompts, then you can select yes on there, and it'll actually modify the prompt for more creative generation. So if you're struggling at generating a prompt, I highly recommend just saying yes to this, and it'll use its own AI to generate a more creative generation for you. Safety tolerance here, 1 is most strict and 5 is most permissive. So if you're generating images that maybe aren't generally safe for the kids, if you will, or if you would like to make sure that for the general public it's a nice safe image that comes out, then you can definitely adjust this to your specifications. So 1 is the most strict and 5 is the most permissive. Seeds right here, and we'll get into this a little bit more in future videos, but seeds are, if you generate an image, it'll be issued a seed number, if you will, and you can use that seed number to reference that particular image and make changes to that particular image as you go along. If we leave this blank, it's going to generate a random seed number every time, which is fine. We don't really need to worry about the seed for this particular one. And just as we were able to change the height up here, we can change the width down here. All right. So that's that particular one here. We'll go okay and close that one. I always tend to add a little bit of a tool here called sleep is what this tool is. And what it does is it delays it a little bit. It takes a little bit of time for Replicate to generate an image for the Flux 1.1 Pro. And I don't want it to go on in the scenario, if you will, skip over this and go to getting a prediction without it actually being done, because it's going to break the whole chain. It's not going to be ready for that data, and it's going to return a 0, and it's just not good times. So we put a little bit of sleep on there, and I've talked about this in previous videos, but you can actually have this set to really any number between 1 and 300. 300 would be an awfully long time, but for this particular one, 10 is just fine for what we're kind of doing. Over here. And then, so Replicate will produce what's called a prediction. So they do a little bit of a, and I'll show you right here. If we go over to the dashboard, you see right here that these are all pictures. These are all predictions. So they're kind of kept on their server, and they're all kept here. And they all have specific IDs to them. So for the purpose that we need today is we need to actually grab that particular picture and that ID, and that's what we do with this one right here. It's listed under completion ID, and it pulls that ID from Replicate and says, okay, this is where it lives. This is the data that, or this is the bundle that contains the completion ID. And now there's a couple other steps that make it a little more complicated for what we want to do, but we also want to go and get, okay, now that we have that prediction, there's a URL that's attached to it under get, and I'll actually show you where that is. It just makes it a lot easier. Go to operation 1 here. You can see that, where do we have it here? Input URLs right here. We have a cancel URL. I'm not going to get into this right now as far as what each one means, because that's for another video, but we have a cancel URL, we have a get URL, and we have a stream URL. Right now we're really concerned about the get URL, so we want to get that image from the prediction from Replicate, and this is the actual image link. We want to be able to get that file. So to do that, we need to send it an authorization. We need to say, hey, Replicate, this is my API key. I want to get that particular image. Here's my authorization. Here's my number, and please provide that for me. So that's fine. We can run that, and once you run that, you're going to get a URL right here. That's where it kind of lives. We want to be able to grab that URL information, and we want to be able to transfer that into some JSON data, and that's what we're doing here. So we create a data structure, grab the data, and then we have some more stuff to work with. Look under here, we have the operation, and the output is actually where that particular image lives now, and then we're good to go. And then we can feed it back over to our Google Sheet to paste the image in the Google Sheet, as I'll show you in a little bit here. So if you take a look, now we have that particular image being pulled over, and it's going to be fed into the spreadsheet. And this particular one right here will open up. Again, we're going to use the same Flux 1.1 Pro Image Generator spreadsheet. It's going to enter a new row number, and this is kind of neat. It needs to reference row number because it needs to know where to put this data. And if you're wondering, well, how the heck do I do that? Because it's going to change every time. Well, yeah, it sure is. If I hover over this row number, I don't know if you can see it on here, but the first module is kind of pulsing a little bit, and that means it's pulling information from over there. And what we're really doing is we're pulling the row number from right here. So this is row number 6, row number 7, and we're telling it where we want that picture to kind of live actually when we bring it over. So just so you know, every time you float over something that has a little bit of a data tree string here, if you will, or it'll tell you exactly where you're pulling information from. It does have headers in my spreadsheet. You can see that it has places and has generated images. And then what we want to do is we want to bring it over here, and that's going to be your output. Let's see if we can actually move this. No, we can't. So this is going to be the output of where that actual image was, and located in our search over there. I've generated a little bit of a formula here, and you'll see when we get to the spreadsheet, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but I've generated a formula of image, and then kind of formulated it this way. The 200, the 200 is actually the size of the image that I want it to be once it gets pulled over to the Google spreadsheet. So you're going to be able to see what that looks like. So yeah, so once we run that, we can actually go over now to our spreadsheet and see the results. Are you guys ready? Let's take a look. Boom. Okay, cool. So we have places here. That's our title. Those are our headers and our generated images. And you can see that I've been busy generating images of different places. So this is China, for example, futuristic picture, Sweden, Paris, Toronto, Paris again, and really good images. They're really nice images, a lot of detail to them. and that's pretty interesting. The futuristic ones came down here a little bit more, and yeah, the pictures are really good. I'm going to go to the dashboard here for a second on Replica, just so I can show you exactly how good these pictures are, if you will. See if I can open this up, image in a new tab. There we go. So just the detail of the images, you can see that there's some futuristic videos flying around here. You can see it looks, you know, a little bit Parisian. And then you can see people walking down on the street, and the shining of the lights and the vehicles. And, you know, it's really uncanny how good AI has come along with the image generation and how it looks. So really, what can you use this for? Well, you can use this for a lot of reasons. You can use this for generating pictures for any books you might want to do, if you want to do a graphic comic, for example, or if you wanted to do just a general image generation. It's good to have all your information organized, all your prompts organized, and then what images those come out with. So absolutely. It's a long one today, guys. Thanks for sticking by me and watching the video. The time right now locally is 1:54 p.m. and you know, we'll have to get ready for the next video tomorrow. But yeah, as always, down below there's going to be some links there for make.com. There's going to be some links there for Appify. There's going to be links there for our Maker School with Nick Sarev and please feel free to join. We have a lot of fun with the automation community there. And as always, if you can hit that like button, that subscribe button, and follow the channel, that would be great. And your comments, really, I like to see some comments and like to talk to you guys about automation and get your thoughts and comments on everything. So thanks again, guys. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and we have a great week coming up. And thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.